Next week, I will be releasing the episode on Reiki energy, energy healing. I know right now in our industry, it's really becoming a more powerful and bigger tool that people are utilizing it. But with tools also comes responsibility. So I got one amazing Reiki teacher and healer to be a part of the podcast for next week. But before that, I was really wanting to share this episode today on the importance of taking care of ourselves and our mental health. Of course, please seek out help if you need help from a provider. And in this episode, I just wanted to talk with my own journey in the last 2.5 years doing therapy. I just finished my last session a couple months ago with my therapist, and I was well enough where I can now be again on my own, because therapy is not something you do forever. It's something that you utilize as a tool, and once you're in a good place and you got the tools in place to keep you dealing with life and things on forward, you can release that additional help and support in your life. And today's episode, I wanted to share how it has not only transformed my life, but also my business and the way I do business, the importance of empathy, and different tools that I've gathered from this that they can really help you, not just solely in your business, but also in life and how we interact with others. And with that, let's get started on this episode. Asking for help is not my easiest thing to do. So when life happens, and something really horrible happened, and I knew I needed help. I knew it was not in a good space. So within 2 days, I got scheduled from a therapist I had worked with before, and I had a call with her within a couple of days from that date. And that's how my therapy journey that would end up being 2.5 years started. I did not know it was going to take so long for me to get to a good space where I could move forward, but that's what happened. So something I started noticing, as we all come from different backgrounds and upbringings, right? And that affects how we interact and how we are in business and in life, and as humans, as mothers, as sisters, as friends. It does affect our own way of being, but does not mean that we have to be that way forever. So after this one incident, I lost a lot of my confidence in myself and being able to make decisions and my intuition. It just was a really hard, honestly, 2.5 years. And meanwhile, I was showing up on social media. Meanwhile, I was doing my podcast. I was working with the brands. I was doing the Pinterest TV episodes. I was doing all these beautiful things. But in the reality is that I had that support because I was struggling internally. Part of being in the beauty industry or hairstylist, as you know, we get to hear and be there for our clients. And sometimes it's with real hard situations that they're going through, that they confide in us. And, we have our own lives. And I have a thing in my own business that I don't like to share a lot of my own personal stuff, because when I'm there in the chair or I'm there, with somebody, one of my clients, is to support them. It's not to be all about me. So with that, I think it was really important to me to be able to support my clients by getting help. So the first thing I did was seek professional help. So I got an actual therapist, a licensed therapist to keep me from. And these are some of the things that really helped me personally that went to flow into my business. So first, it taught me the importance of learning to listen. So when I talked to my therapist, she would listen and she would take time to ponder what I just said. Or if she was thinking of a book, to take the moment of silence to think about what she was trying to tell me before she spoke. Or she also took the time to understand that what I had just come out of my mouth or what I was just trying to explain to her was exactly as she was interpreting it. Those type of skills really help me with my clients, that even to this day, I'm not perfect, okay? When I do consultation, it's so important to listen to my clients, see what they're trying to tell me, and really understand what they want, right? Because a lot of things that happen behind the chair, I really think when things go wrong, is not so much of what we do wrong, but maybe the miscommunication, the not listening that happens, and miscommunication is something that can really cause, a lot of problems. So that's something that, helped me from going to therapy in my personal life, that trickled onto my business, was being a better listener. That's not just about speaking. It's not just about being right. It's about listening and understanding what that person is trying to tell me. And also the power, number 2, was empathy. I love the word empathy because I may not know what you're going through at this moment. I may not have not experienced it in my life, but I can have a heart of, wow, I may not have experienced what you're going through, but I feel for you. I can only imagine what that feels like. So I'm going to, show you that support or love or understanding. Although I may not know what you're feeling, that I do care about how you're feeling. That's why I feel empathy really means. And so with everything that I've gone through and my situations and being able to talk to my therapist and everything, empathy has been something so important that I've learned also in business, that it's not just about, like, as we all know, for me, myself, I've never been in business just to take people's money or just a service, or it's just, my 2 p.m. appointment. It's something that I really care about. It's an exchange not just of money, but also energy, right? So it has taught me empathy when things go wrong, or my clients want something different, or miscommunication happen, or, like maybe they try to do something different at home that went wrong. I have the empathy of understanding that I may not be in their shoes, but I can care about their feelings. And a quick example of how that translates into business, like for example, maybe your client decided she was going to do her own roots at home, and she does her color and it turns out darker than what she wanted, right? Instead of scolding her or making her feel bad or shaming her for doing that, practice the empathy that, maybe she had gone through like a hard financial space where she couldn't come in to see you. Or maybe she wanted something done real fast, or maybe something in life had triggered her to do that. And instead of scolding or shaming our clients, we can be there in support of, like, these are the options. This is how it can help you. And giving the client the option of either paying for your help or, deciding to do it on their own, right? And continue on their own path. And that's why I think empathy really happens, like, and really important in business, because at one point or another, we're all going to be clients, right? Whether it's for beauty services or any type of business professional service, practicing empathy is so, so, so important. And we can forget that sometimes as business owners. So I think that's a really important thing, empathy, that I really learned a lot working with my therapist, not just for my clients, but also for my kids, like being littles, and, like, I know I'm the mom, but I am not their boss, and they are not my property. They're their own individual little humans that I'm trying to teach them love and trying to teach them to dream and be who they are and accept them for who they are. Not what the world wants them to be, not what other moms tell me I should be, but having that love and empathy that they are little and they have a lot of pressure, right? And not being so hard on them when they make mistakes. So that's another real important thing that I've learned. Another thing that was very interesting, having gone through therapy as I've been navigating this emotional thing and showing up online, is the word grace. So giving myself grace is like asking something huge of me, because I am very hard on myself. I think that really helped me in this beauty industry, but also was really hard on me, is that I didn't need others to be hard on me, because I am super, super hard on myself. And when things go wrong, you can bet I'm beating myself up even more. So practicing grace within my own therapy sessions, of allowing myself to forgive myself, allowing myself that I'm trying my best. And sometimes, horrible, bad things happen even to good people, right? Giving myself that grace has really helped me also in business, that, I'm trying to do everything by the book, and sometimes things are going to go wrong, or like, I'll tell you a funny story. Well, it's not so funny, but because I was stressed out. But I was doing a wedding and I packed everything. So I have a thing where I packed the day before because I want to make sure everything's there. All my bobby pins, all the tools, anything and everything I need. It has to be in that kit. So I had packed it and I went to the wedding and my case is black. Hence, after this incident, I have done some things so I can find it easier. So it was hiding and I couldn't find it. I had put it in a side pocket inside that I couldn't see. And I was stressing out. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all these hairstyles without bobby pins or rubber bands or ponytails or all my tools that I need? But because I'm always over prepared, I'm always like, my personality is kind of like, I'm always prepared like for extras or anything that comes up. I always like to have my emergency kit. I had my emergency bobby pins and my whole little kit there. So I finished the first style, and by the time I got the second, I found the thing with all my tools. But worst case scenario, I still had my emergency kit. The reason why I'm sharing you this is because I had to give myself the grace that I wasn't. I felt like I wasn't prepared, but it wasn't that. It was just that it was hiding, right? Like it was black and inside is black, so I couldn't find it. It was like hiding in between there. And I gave myself the grace that, you know what, it's okay, Celeste, you have your emergency kit, you're going to do great. So that's how grace has come from just being in therapy and learning to give myself grace with life situations into business situations, right? And how helpful it is to be prepared and to have my little emergency kit that saved the day that day. So when you do therapy, nobody tells you this. And I wanted to share this with you because this really shook me. It's going to open up insecurities and things that you have problems with. The beautiful thing from that is that you can grow in your business, you can grow as a person as well. But the hard part is you're going to have to do the dark work of it, right? Like admitting that sometimes I am a bit of a perfectionist and that gets in my way of my own growth, right? I don't like to admit that, but that is the truth. Or being able to admit that I don't like change, but yet I don't like change in my life, right? I used to be that way, not anymore. I've worked really hard through that. But yet in my business, I'm so like flexible to change and to pivot quickly there. But in my own life, I don't like so as much. And I want to share that with you because this is going to happen. We go to therapy. Some people think, oh, we just talk or it's just about problems. No, it's also, if you allow it to be, it's also about personal growth and growing within yourself and noticing, oh, maybe that's not such a good trait to have. How can I make this better? Or how can I, if I know I have problems with change, how can I make it easier or change my outlook on it, right? And I was not expecting that out of therapy. I really was not. And I just think it just really also taught me a lot with like people skills. Like, for example, weddings, it's a lot of pressure. Everything, there's a timeline, there's deadlines and stuff. And being able to also change and pivot, right? Because there's weddings where they tell you, oh, everyone has to be ready at 2. And on the day off, oh, they need to be ready by 12. Even though that was not part of the contract. So, or, they tell you, hey, the bride needs to be ready by 1. And they really don't come get her until 3, so poor bride's there for a while. So it's just different, right? Being able to pivot and change. And also like something that I really learned a lot is also like being able and respectful of people's feelings. So as you can imagine, when if you're talking to somebody like a therapist, it's so awesome. I've done it in person and virtual. I love the in-person part, which that one was years ago. I've been in therapy different times of my life, and I'm sharing this with you because even in my own culture as a, Latina woman, it's very taboo. Like, what do you mean you're in therapy? You don't need help. We all need help. Now it's starting to change where I'm even starting to see where like maybe for example, my mom would be more accepting of it now and understanding of it. But there's still that taboo of like, well, why you need to talk to somebody about your problems or get help, right? So even for me to be able to do that took a lot of courage, right? And I want to emphasize that if you're going to therapy or you want to start getting help through therapy, that takes courage, and you should be so proud of yourself because it takes courage to do so. And for me, I just want to teach my kids that's a skill that they can tap into, right? They can have. So I've done in-person therapy. So let's talk a little bit about that. So in-person therapy, I did that a couple years ago when I was going through a really bad thing. It was through my workers' comp situation. So I did sue a school because I was being discriminated and harassed because of my being Latina. He was an idiot. Anyways, so, it messed with my head. It made me feel like I was the crazy one. And after the whole thing was said and done, it was true. He was harassing and discriminating against me based on the color of my skin, which is not very nice. It's not very cool, but shit happens, right? Even if you're born in the USA, it can happen to you too. So anyway, so I was going to in-person therapy at that time, and it was different. So what I liked about in-person therapy, it was that he taught me how to meditate. He did like this special testing where they put like little like tape things on you, and they try to help you to see how much you can meditate. And he told me he was surprised. I'm one of the persons at that time that he had ever seen in all his years of practice that could go down to that deep level of meditation, which I didn't know I could do that. So that was a cool skill I've learned. And from that, I've been able to practice. When I feel like I'm going too fast, when I feel like I need time to slow down, or I'm stressed out, or I'm feeling like too overthinking things, that has been a tool that allows me to meditate. Meditation is a big part of my life now, and I wouldn't have done it or tried it if it wasn't through that therapist that helped me. Also, with in-person therapy, it took me a while to open up. And I think it is different because you're there with the person face to face. Like maybe it's just part of who I am, but it took me longer to open up versus when I did a virtual on phone call therapies, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's another thing I learned. It took me longer to open up. What did I learn when I went through the in-person therapy? Also, like there's medications that can help you. For me, the medication route wasn't the best, so I ended up not doing that. But I also learned about like different things like aromatherapy, which I utilize in my business as well. I also learned about like touch points, right? And I also learned about like our upbringing, how much it affects us as humans, right? And like pretty much when you grow up to an adult, you're unconditioning yourself from that. So it was just a really beautiful experience for me to have in-person therapy. I did not like having to drive there and back, but it was a beautiful thing and I loved it. So I grew a lot from that. So now this past 2.5 years of being in therapy and doing it from the comfort of my own space and my cell phone, just doing video, like it kind of looks like it's through a special like confidential thing that you sign up on, and you get to see their face and you get to hear their voice. For some reason, that was easier for me. Maybe because a lot of us do FaceTime, so it made it more comfortable. And it was very personal. I love that I would be able to go on walks or be outside in private and be able to talk about my things. And I felt like I was able to go in a deeper relationship with my therapist, just because I was able to not worry about how I looked or where I was at or having to drive outside of a comfort zone. I was able to really have a lot of control over where I was at. And that really taught me about the importance of your environment, right? So I've had some people come to my house and the thing I get is that my house is very calming. And I've been changing the colors again on my house, and we're about to get a new dining room set at my house, and it is very calming. Like I love my space to be calm. Like although I love Halloween, and trust me, in August, my house is about to go turn into Halloween Central over here. All this lightness is going to go away because I'm going to put like Halloween everywhere here. It's going to be a lot of black and white. Your environment is so important. So I remember growing up, and I learned that from, being in therapy. I'm like, wow, like it's crazy how comfortable you can be depending on your environment. So that translates into the mobile salon. I like it to be warm and welcoming and calming, right? So let's talk a little bit more about that. So although I love dark, moody things, my house is really calming. So growing up, I used to go to church, and I remember how they told us, like, your home should be a safe haven. So it should be like in heaven on earth, right? And that really stuck with me. So I think for me, home should be like a place that's clean and organized, coming from the chaos of the world and everything. A place where it's pretty quiet. Like if you hear my house right now, it's pretty quiet. I have neighbors around me, but my kids are quiet. Like, we just really thrive in a calming environment. So that's very important to me. And that's something I was able to discover through therapy. So there's so many tools that you can get from there that can translate into your business, and not just in regards to how your aesthetically it looks at the salon, but also on your social media, also on your website. That feel and look translates. So I think it's so important that we really always think about that, right? And therapy doesn't have to be this ugly, scary thing. And also finding the right fit for you. Like if the first therapist is not right for you, find somebody else who is, and who is. Just some tools to help you in case you decide to go that route. There's so many now. There's so many like networks out there that you can pay out of pocket that are not super expensive. Because I know therapy can be super expensive. I know it can range like if depending on where you go. It could be from $150 up to $350 per session. But now there's new systems online where you can get a therapist for under $90 per session, which is amazing. So some of those things, can come with like, you're like, okay, that sounds amazing. How am I going to make this happen? Maybe you don't go get your nails done, for a couple of months, or maybe you stop doing your lashes, or maybe you stop spending money on certain things to make that a priority, because having your mental health be strong, it trickles into your business, it trickles into your life. So I think that's so important that you make that investment for yourself. But most importantly, just remember, like, we can't give from an empty cup, right? Like if I want to give you water from my cup and it's empty, what am I going to give you? So the same thing with our life and our clients and our family. It's so important that we prioritize ourselves. And I am a mother of 3. I have a teenager, a preteen, and a toddler. So my life is very busy. I also have a house to take care of, my business and my husband's business and other things that I do. So I'm here to tell you that nothing is perfect, and it has been a really challenging and beautiful experience to me to be in therapy, and has helped me grow in so many ways in my business, personal life. And I really encourage you that you do not have to be quote unquote broken or have troubles to get help, right? Like it can, maybe you want to get stronger as a person, and instead of buying courses on hairstyling or makeup artistry or whatever your beauty profession is, you can start maybe getting help on becoming a better, stronger person and individual, because the more that we prioritize our health, the more it trickles on. And I want to end with this. Like, it's incredible how putting your mental health first can trickle onto everything. So because of this, I've been walking for years, but I literally just started rowing. So I sign up for the gym. So I go to the rowing machine, and it just really helps me when I'm stressed out or I want to feel better about myself. With my hand health, it has really helped me to remind myself that although my hand may think it runs me, it doesn't. My mind's very powerful and I can do it. And so it has trickled me also to be like, hey, although I may be scared to do this video, or I may be scared to say yes to this brand partnership because it's so big, I am worthy of that, and I can do these things, and I do belong in that space as well. All those things have come from putting my mental health first. And sometimes putting my mental health first is just 30 seconds of being able to take a deep breath. Other times has been going on a half an hour walk, going half an hour to the gym, and sometimes it's just lighting a candle because my day is too busy to relax my atmosphere and feel in tune and calm. So with that, I wanted to say thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. Next week will be a video episode, so I'll link it to the YouTube video if you want to watch it. And it's going to be about Reiki healing and energy and how to be mindful, how to make sure that you're getting certified for it correctly, practicing, ethically with it. And it's just such a beautiful episode because Sin, she actually certified me Reiki level 1, and she has worked with amazing people and artists, so she's very talented, very knowledgeable, and I'm excited to share her with you next week. So with that, I'll see you back here next week. Bye, love.